Ever wondered what life is really like behind the scenes for NFL players? I'm not talking about just the big games or the highlight plays. No, I'm talking about the strange, strict, and downright surprising rules that players have to follow every day. What if I told you that in the NFL, players can get fined for, well, farting, or for wearing the wrong color on their sideline jacket, or even for not making eye contact with their coach? Crazy, right? These are the types of rules that rarely make headlines but can have real consequences for players, costing them thousands of dollars each season. Today, we're diving into the lesser-known side of the NFL rulebook, exploring the fines, penalties, and quirks you've probably never heard of. So let's jump right in, starting with a rule that might make you do a double take every time you think about the locker room. Yes, you heard that right. NFL players can actually be fined for farting in team meetings or the locker room. Now, this isn't something that's in the official NFL rulebook. This is more of a team-specific rule, meant to keep the environment focused and, shall we say, fresh? Players can get fined if their gaseous outbursts become too disruptive, breaking focus or even distracting the team before a game. It might seem silly, but it goes to show how seriously teams take preparation and discipline. Imagine you're a rookie, just trying to fit in with the veterans when suddenly, oops, you let one slip in the middle of a team huddle. Next thing you know, you're getting a fine notice in your locker. It sounds hilarious, but the message is clear. In the NFL, even locker room etiquette matters. Now, here's one that's much more serious. Blocking at the knees, or going low in certain situations, is an illegal and dangerous play that can get a player not just penalized, but fined. Blocking at the knees puts players at a huge risk for injury, especially defensive players who might be caught off guard. The league created this rule to protect players from devastating injuries, particularly those involving the knees and legs. One type of knee-related foul is the chop block, where one player blocks an opponent high while another blocks low, creating a dangerous situation where the defender has no way to protect their legs. Imagine the offensive line trying to open up a gap for the running back and a blocker goes for a low hit. If the ref calls it, that block could not only cost the team yardage but also lead to a fine for the player. The NFL has zero tolerance for knee-related fouls, and this is one rule the players take seriously. NFL players can be fashion icons, but on the field, there are the strict rules about what they can wear, right down to their jackets and hats on the sideline. If a player is wearing a non-approved jacket or accessory on the sidelines, they can get fined for violating the dress code. Even the color of their towel has to be team-approved. Imagine you're on the sideline, waiting to jump back into the game, but you put on the wrong color hat during a timeout. The league's got eyes everywhere, and next thing you know, oh, boom, you're fined. It's all part of the NFL's effort to keep a clean, professional image on and off the field. The NFL controls media access tightly, especially on game day. Players are restricted from doing unauthorized media interviews pre-game or at halftime without approval. This rule keeps players focused on the game and ensures they're not distracted or accidentally giving away game strategies. Imagine a player giving an impromptu interview just before kickoff, talking strategy and hyping up the crowd. Even if it seems harmless, it could cost them. The league imposes fines to keep players in a game-time mindset, limiting distractions that could break team focus. Team meetings are sacred time in the NFL, and players are expected to give their full attention. If a player is caught texting during a meeting, it's an immediate fine. Coaches see it as disrespectful, a sign that the player isn't fully committed to the strategy session. Texting fines are not just a team rule. They're a way of building a culture of focus and respect. So, when a player decides to scroll through their messages or even check a quick text, they risk being called out and called to pay up. Imagine being a young player, just getting to know the ropes and forgetting to silence your phone. It buzzes mid-meeting, all eyes turn to you, and you're left trying to figure out how much this quick text just cost you. Believe it or not, failing to make eye contact with a coach can actually be a finable offense on some teams. Coaches see eye contact as a sign of respect, focus, and commitment. When a player avoids eye contact, it can signal a lack of respect, or worse, that they're not paying attention. This rule is particularly strict on teams that emphasize respect and discipline. Coaches feel that if a player can't even look them in the eyes during meetings, they may not have the focus needed to deliver on the field. Some players, especially rookies, get caught off guard by this, learning the hard way that respect in the NFL has its costs. Imagine being called up in a meeting and the head coach is delivering some critical strategy points. You look away, distracted by the game on Sunday, and suddenly that lack of eye contact costs you. Literally, the NFL is a league where punctuality matters. When it's time to travel, every player has to be on time. If a player arrives late to the team plane, they can face fines for delaying the schedule. This keeps everyone accountable and ensures the team arrives as one unified group. Imagine hitting traffic on the way to the airport, only to find out the team plane is waiting for you. That single delay could lead to a hefty fine, and maybe some extra conditioning drills at practice. The message is clear. In the NFL, time waits for no one. Players love to express themselves through their cleats, but the NFL has strict rules on what's allowed. Unauthorized cleat designs can result in fines if they don't adhere to team colors or league guidelines. Only during specific events like the My Cause, My Cleats campaign can players wear customized designs. So, while a player's heart might be set on honoring a loved one or showing some flair, they have to stick to the approved looks or pay up. Just ask Odell Beckham Jr., who's faced several fines for his bold cleat choices. Chewing gum might seem harmless, but on the field, it's often a no-go. Some teams impose fines for players who chew gum during games or practice, seeing it as a safety issue or a potential distraction. Not to mention, it's one more thing for players to worry about if they're in the heat of a big play. Imagine losing focus because you're worried about accidentally choking on a piece of gum. Some coaches simply won't allow it, enforcing a no-gum rule with fines to make sure players stay alert and safe. Team hotels are strictly for players and approved personnel only. Bringing unauthorized guests to the team hotel, whether a friend or family member, can result in a fine. This rule keeps the team focused on the game and limits distractions. Imagine a player's family member surprising them on an away game, only to find out later that their sweet gesture just cost the player a fine. It might seem strict, but for the team, game time focus comes first. From fart fines to eye contact etiquette, these strange and surprising rules reveal just how structured life in the NFL really is. For every touchdown and highlight reel, there are countless rules players have to follow to keep things running smoothly. So next time you're watching a game, remember the hidden code of conduct these players are following, and all the quirky fines that come with it. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.